headquarters.
I saw you up there with Hoist Gracie, and I could see the emotion in your face. Like, if you could just put it into words, what does this day mean to you?
Well, I guess that's what you call it, feelings. You have to just feel it. You can't really explain it. You know, Hoist is the reason why we're all involved in mixed martial arts. If we're being real about it. And for me personally, I went through a bad incident as a kid. Confidence was destroyed, and it was watching him being able to beat people so easily. It gave me the confidence to try again. And I feel like I've blinked. 20 odd years have gone past, and now I'm in this incredible facility surrounded by amazing people.
When you were back in that shed, did you ever imagine it was going to get to this size, this level? I mean, this is a world-class facility, could be the base for Europe. Did you ever think you were going to get here?
No, I always remember my mother kept telling me, it's not going to work because Ireland is cold. That was her. That was it. She goes, no, all those Brazilians, it's warm over there. You're in a freezing cold shed. Who's going to want to roll around each other in the cold? So, but it didn't really matter to me whether it got bigger than that. That was enough for me. You know, I was lucky that I had an education as well, a degree in engineering, and I would have been a school teacher or an engineer, and then still done some jiu-jitsu at the weekends. You know, but it's nice it went this way.
When you open these doors and you have I imagine you have a vision for the future. What do you imagine this place is going to be like? Is it going to be the base for European MMA? Is it just going to be a home for Irish MMA? What do you see this facility as being?
It's hard to say, to be honest. Like, I'm very happy with what we've achieved as a team already, but I do feel we're entering kind of a new era of so many young guys coming through, so many guys under 21 years of age that are incredible, and the coaching staff is so on point now. Yeah, I'm very excited. I have a great relationship with a couple of the major promotions, so I'm able to get guys opportunities I wasn't able to get the guys back in the day. I learned so much from those first group of guys I had. So, yeah, I'm 42 now. I still only feel I'm a kid in this, and that I've got many, many years ahead of me.
It's funny you mentioned about the relationships, promotions. I saw a Twitter spat not long ago that you had to get a bit serious about. Is that all resolved? Graham Boylan suggesting that you had a doctor on.
It wasn't a spat. It was a. I don't know if I used the word accusation. It was. Well, I would use that word. It was an accusation that I was bribing someone to keep Cage Warriors out of Ireland. It was just nonsense. I'd love Cage Warriors to be here. The more promotions, the better. I have a big fight team. I think Graham, he maybe hot-headed and he just said something he regretted, but I had to pull him on it because I have a reputation, and I had to go down that road. I didn't want to, but it was necessary. I couldn't have people thinking that's how I am. And he apologised in fairness to him, so I want to leave that behind. You know, don't hold a grudge. Cage Warriors is coming over in November, which is great.
Fantastic. Like
I said, the more the better. You know, Bellator have their 2 dates a year. The Irish fans seem to be are lapping it up. They're going to all these shows. More shows, the better. More MMA gyms out there, the better. More fighters, more fans. It's great for everybody.
Does this say something about the Irish fan base that the UFC don't need to come here to fill out arenas? The Bellator can do it. The Cage Warriors can come here. Does it show that Irish MMA, well, you know, maybe as Conor sort of isn't fighting as regularly, isn't as high profile, you know, going to Vegas and stuff, it's still there. There's still a core fan base here.
Oh yeah. You know, we've Bellator were here in February, and it's 6 months later, so another sold out arena. They've really invested in the Irish, UK, and European market. You know, regular shows over this side of the pond, as you say, and of course, all of that would be. None of that would matter if it wasn't for the fans. Yeah. If the fans weren't buying the tickets, if the fans weren't getting behind, you know, the next wave of guys, the Kiefer Crosbys, the James Gallaghers, and so on. I mean, I could list off the whole team, and not just my team, Rhino, and all the other great teams out there. If the fans weren't getting behind them, the shows wouldn't come.
Speaking of James Gallagher, late notice opponent change, something you've, I think, dealt with maybe once or twice in your career. Is it just the same principle? We're preparing ourselves, not for the opponent. We keep rolling. Jimmy show continues.
Yes, indeed. I really liked the Cal matchup. It was super tough one. Mm-hmm. Cal's skill set had us on our toes. New guy, a different problem. I think this guy's a real wily veteran. He's been around. He's fought all over the world. You know, he's had more wins than James Gallagher's had pro fights. So he's very, very experienced. But like you said, not the biggest surprise in the world for us to be dealing with a late notice change of opponents. So you accept it and you get ready. You get ready for the contest.
And speaking of another guy, some people might have heard of, Conor McGregor. He recently tweeted Dublin, December 14th. Not sure if you know anything about it, but obviously that's the time frame he's looking to return. If you could pick a when, where, and who for his return fight, anyone in mind?
My wish list. What do I want for Christmas? I think him and Frankie Edgar would be a great fight.
Right.
I think it was in the works when Conor was kind of going on that featherweight tear.
Yeah.
He's ex-world champion, great fighter. Yeah, if it was me, I'd love to see the Frankie Edgar fight this year, if possible, and then go on another run in 2020.
Is that just? It's almost like a legacy fight, right? Like Frankie and Conor,
Yes.
they've been linked together for
Yes.
so long. They've both got these
Yes.
great, legacies to their name.
Yeah.
Is it just want to see it before they both retire and leave the sport?
Yeah. Frankie has a style that's one very difficult to deal with. You got to train very hard for it, but it's also one we're somewhat familiar with. Even from his first fight with Brimage, this kind of small, fast guy, quick hands, wrestling. But Frankie's just been in there with everybody. He's been a world champion. He's beaten legends like BJ Penn and so on. So I just think that's a great match for the fans. And for me, I'd love to see it.
And McGregor mentioned something in his interview there with Hawani of ESPN that stylistically it does set him up nicely to prepare for another guy you may have heard of, Khabib Nurmagomedov. There's a similar style, not quite the same. On Khabib, did you see his fight with Dustin Poirier? Did you think it was going to go that way? And is there anything you can take away from that as like, okay, I still see a chink in the armor that others might not have seen? What did you take from that?
No, pretty much as I thought.
Okay.
He just has a relentless grappling style that's very hard, very difficult to deal with. Poirier, I thought, did great, and it was the second round Poirier had some success, but he gave up a takedown and got caught in the third. It was a great fight.
Do you think Tony Ferguson can do better, have success where Poirier couldn't? Or do you still think Khabib's pressure is just what it is?
Tony is a very interesting one. He's super fit. He's got a very aggressive guard. Again, they've been linked. Was it 3-4 times? They're supposed to have fought. So it's one of those fights again that we have to see.
And last one. I know you won the Frankie fight. There's a Khabib rematch is always there. There's this other guy, Nate Diaz, who's fighting for a new title, the baddest motherfucker in the world title. Or he's defending it, excuse me. Is that a title and a fight you want?
Of course. Since forever.
There's a cherry on the cake now.
Since forever, it's been the Diaz trilogy is being talked about. He's he's a fighter's fighter. He's been in the game forever. Him and Conor have done a lot of time in the octagon already, and who wouldn't want to see a few more rounds of that?
John, thank you, and congratulations on the facility.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Hello everybody, and welcome along to the official opening of Straight Class Gym Ireland headquarters.